Hey guys, it's Clayton here. Today is it's Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday, August 15th of 2024, and I just wanted to just make a little video just talking. I don't know, I just think it's so funny. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's interesting. It's funny how life works out sometimes. Because sometimes life is so incredibly shitty, and then other times things play out so perfectly that like you couldn't even plan them. It just happens, and it's just interesting how that happens. Like I'm in Black Diamond right now, and stopped by a CCB, one of my favorite coffee places, and then let's see, went to a gas station across the street to pick up some pizza sticks, and I saw one of my old co-workers from Planet Fitness, Colin, one of my old friends, and it was so good to see him again. It had been such a long time since I'd seen him, but couldn't have even planned for that. It just happened, and it was so cool to catch up with him for a sec. And yeah, I don't know. I notice things that like throughout life, like certain times, if you try to plan it out, it's not going to work out. But sometimes things will just happen by coincidence or whatever you want to say. But things just happen so randomly, and it's just perfect. I don't know. Like today is August 15th, as I was saying. And when I was looking at my phone and I saw there was August 15th earlier, it hit me as like, okay, well, I know there's something important about August 15th because that date is like in my head. And then I remembered 1 year ago, I saw Alex Vile, my favorite local band from Seattle. I saw them play August 15th at Funhouse in Seattle. And usually concerts, I usually just happen to remember the dates of concerts. So that was just sticking out for me. But like, it's so interesting to see like how the chain reaction of things in life, you know, one thing causes another. Like there's certain things that had to have happened, that had to have been in place for me to even have seen Alex Vile in the first place. So like, I'm gonna go on like a little throwback chain for a sec. Like my first concert I went to in 2022, that was February 5th of 2022, and that was actually at Funhouse as well. And that night I saw 3 bands. I saw Smack, Daphne, and Worst Party Ever. Smack is from like Puyallup, Tacoma area, and Daphne, I think they're closer to like Kirkland area. But yeah, they're like local to like around the Seattle area. And that was like my first time going to like a local show. And from there, like I didn't plan it. It just happened very gradual. But like I just started going to tons of shows after that, and that's really what my life is like now. Just always going to concerts. But see, like if I hadn't seen Smack, there's so many things. Like, okay, so for example, the first time I saw Alex Vile, which was also at Funhouse, that was January 14th of 2023. The reason I went there that night was to see Smack. So I think if I hadn't seen Smack in 2022, I wouldn't have gone there to see them at the Funhouse on January 14th, 2023, and then I would have never seen Alex Vile. And then there's so many other bands I've seen now because of Alex Vile, and just it's like all this like chain reaction. It's so interesting to think about. Like someday I want to like make a whole chart of like bands I've seen because of, I don't know if this makes sense, but like stemming from other bands I've seen. So like I was saying, my first concert 2022 was February 5th, and the main band I went there to see was called Daphne, and that just happened to be that morning, or 1 or 2 in the morning. I was at college, I was sitting in the lounge just scrolling through Instagram on my phone. I was just scrolling, and there was a sponsored ad from this band called Daphne. And this ad, it was a cool video, and said that they were playing their EP release show that night. At the time, like, I was scared of driving on the freeway, but I was living in Kirkland. It was only like a 15 to 20 minute drive. I was thinking, okay, well, it'll be worth it. It's only like 15 to 20 minutes. And so I drove there and I saw Daphne. And by the way, yeah, I used to have like lots of anxiety about driving on the freeway, but over time, just like going to concerts so much, I got over my anxiety of driving on the freeway, and now driving to Seattle or driving to Tacoma is like nothing for me. Like, of course, you have to like be cautious, and I'm always like cautious of people driving around me, especially at night when people are like driving back home from bars. But like an example of like how I'm not scared of driving on the freeway anymore is like I've driven like, what was it? I think it was September 22nd of 2022. I drove to Portland to see 21 Pilots, and actually I think August 22nd, which is like next week, I'll be seeing them at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. I think that will be my 4th time seeing them. So I've driven to Portland for that. Black Friday last year, November 24th, I drove to Canada, okay? I drove to Vancouver, BC to see Depeche Mode, my favorite band. And that was what? That was my 3rd out of 5 times seeing them just last year on their Memento Mori tour. And sorry, I know I'm like all over the place with what I'm talking about. But yeah, those are just a few examples of how like I drive long distances for concerts and how like I'm just not scared of driving on the freeway anymore. But none of that would have happened if it wasn't for going to concerts. Like, I don't know, life is so beautiful sometimes. Like, yeah, it's got the dark, shitty parts, but like sometimes though, life can be so great and so special. And the parts of life where it's just that great and that perfect, you can't plan for it because it just happens. Like how I just saw my friend Colin at the gas station. It's like, I didn't know that was gonna happen. I hadn't seen him in a long time. But those moments like that you don't plan for, those are special. I like that. Now another example of, I never would have seen this band if it wasn't for this band. So I was talking about Daphne, the band. I saw them, I think I've seen them 3 or 4 times now. But like I was saying, my first time I saw them was my first concert in 2022, which was February 5th. Second time I saw them, I went with my uncle to Connor Burn Pub in Ballard, Washington, in Seattle. And that was December 22nd. That was December 21st of 2022. And in order of who played, there was Smallest Bear, Biggest Paws, Kuroshi, and then there was Daphne. And I went there to see Daphne. And that was pretty special. I got to go see it with my uncle too. I'm glad we got that memory of that concert together. And that was like maybe $10 to get in. But that second band who played, Kuroshi, that was my first time seeing them, but my gosh, they blew my mind. Like, they put on a great show. I told my uncles, like, oh my gosh, for like $10 we get this, like, sweet deal. Like, that was just an amazing like punk show they put on. And you know what? Now, like, I've seen Kuroshi 7 times. And like 2 or maybe 3 days ago, I don't know, on Monday, I actually saw a band called Halftide, which has the bassist from Kuroshi. He's the lead guy in Halftide, and he plays guitar and he sings in that. So, for one, I wouldn't have seen Halftide if I hadn't seen Kuroshi, and I would have never seen Kuroshi if I hadn't seen Daphne. It's amazing for me to think about one thing leads to another, and it just, gosh, the way life plays out is so cool sometimes. What else? But yeah, I've seen Kuroshi 7 times, and a band that I wouldn't have seen if I had never seen Kuroshi is Fell Off. And Fell Off is one of my favorite bands too. They're also based in Seattle. I'll be seeing them again, I think it might be next Saturday. I don't know, August 24th, I think. So yeah, I saw Fell Off because of Kuroshi, and let's go back a little bit. So, if I never would have seen Kuroshi, I never would have seen Fell Off. Yeah, and then if I never would have seen Daphne, I probably never would have seen Kuroshi. If I would have never seen Smack, which is one of the bands that played at the same show I first saw Daphne at, if I never saw Smack, I probably never would have seen Alex Vile. And now Alex Vile is my favorite band from Seattle. I've seen them 26 times. I'm gonna be seeing them for the 27th time on Alex's birthday on Sunday. And it's just crazy to think, like I've already said, how one thing leads to another. Wow. And an even bigger thing, when I went to that first concert of 2022, February 5th, I drove there. I just thought like, okay, I can buy a ticket at the door. I didn't have any cash on me though, okay? I was paying with my card. Turns out they only accepted cash. They didn't accept card. So I was trying to get, I was trying to find people outside the venue because I was gonna see if maybe I could Venmo someone. They can give me some cash so I could get in. Also, I really had to pee super bad. Like honestly, I know this is badass considering like peeing outside somewhere, but like I just happened to be walking around and I bumped into this guy. I can't remember his name. I think it might be Cade, but I think I might be wrong. I bumped into this guy who just happened to be the drummer's brother of Smack. Okay, so the drummer for Smack, I met his brother outside randomly, and he was walking back to his hotel because, I don't know, I guess he was like staying in a hotel in Seattle that night. And we were talking, found out his brother's the drummer for Smack. I guess he got kicked out because he tried using like a fake ID. But, so we walked back to his hotel. I got in the hotel, I was able to use the bathroom there. He used the ATM and got my money, ran back to Funhouse, got my ticket, and went in there when Smack was playing. The thing is, if I never would have randomly ran into the drummer's brother from Smack, I may have never even made it into that first concert. That first concert of 2022 almost never happened for me. So life is just so random and crazy and beautiful how it works out. But I don't know, I just had like all this stuff on my mind. It's like all over the place, but that's why I like writing too sometimes, because I can like organize it, put it all together. I got like so much memories in my head about concerts. It's so beautiful. And for me, like going to concerts is like life, and I just like documenting them. I like documenting life and all the life that happens at shows, because it's, again, just so beautiful. And someday I plan on writing a book about it. But this was pretty all over the place. But yeah, thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.